And in episode 4, despite Daniel's best efforts, Doyona says thanks, but no thanks. It has more to do with the negative PR that they would get than the lack of sales. Daniel leaves the meeting pretty dejected, but he doesn't let Amanda see it, telling her that he's going to continue to work on it. He goes to a bar to kind of drown his sorrows where the bartender can tell that Daniel's going through something. Seeing him flip through photos of Mr. Miyagi and asking if that's a friend. He says, yeah, it is. I wish he was here now. Fortunately, he's not. And the bartender tells him that's a really American way to look at it. In Japan, you can always visit somebody. They're always with you. So Daniel heeds this advice, heading to Tomi Village for the first time in about 30 years, the home of Mr. Miyagi. He remembers it being a land stuck in an ancient time. So he's pretty surprised to see that it's been modernized. A lot, and not to his liking. He finds out, though, that the crops started drying up, so they started selling off the land to malls, and it really revitalized the area. This mission, though, isn't for nothing, because he ends up running into Kamiko. They end up going out to grab a bite to eat and catching up. You find out that Kamiko never got married. A couple guys tried, but didn't work out. She wants to know, though, why Daniel really came back. She's not buying the story about his business. And he tells her it's because everybody looks to him for answers, but currently, he's lost. He used to go to Mr. Miyagi for help, but Mr. Miyagi's not there anymore. And it's dawning on him that he is the same age that Mr. Miyagi was when he met Mr. Miyagi. And he had it all figured out. He wishes that Mr. Miyagi was still there to help guide him. The two end up continuing to catch up, with Kamiko letting him know that Mr. Miyagi was a romantic at heart, sending Yuki love letters. And one of the love letters was sent a week before Mr. Miyagi died. And it's from Mr. Miyagi telling Yuki just how much Daniel means to him. Not just Daniel, but Daniel's entire family, allowing Mr. Miyagi to be a part of it. And this kind of message is just what Daniel needed. They go out to have a drink that night, and Kamiko is telling him, don't worry about your business, it'll work out. But their conversation is interrupted by Chosen. And he doesn't look thrilled to see Daniel. Back in the States, though, Miguel has gone through surgery, and it's only a matter of time before they find out if it was successful or not. Johnny, though, after getting an update, knows he needs to make up with Robbie. And he does that by heading to a soup kitchen for the homeless, where Robbie is going to be volunteering to lower his sentence. Robbie isn't too thrilled about seeing Johnny, having felt like he bailed on him once again. Telling Johnny, if you're going to sit here and tell me you're in my corner, you can save that. Mr. LaRusso said the same thing, and look where I am now. Robbie tries to get him out of there, telling him that he's busy, but Johnny's not leaving until the two can have a conversation. He sees Robbie carrying a bunch of soup and decides to go give him a hand. And he tells Robbie, you know, before the fight, we were headed in the right direction, but Robbie reminds him, Dad, it was one day. And their conversation seems to be headed in the right direction until Johnny reveals to Robbie that he blew him off because of Miguel in the hospital. Robbie gets his back up, saying, you know, I'm sure Miguel really appreciated that, but Johnny also gets his back up, saying, hey, I'm not the one who put him in the hospital. And Robbie can't believe that comment, telling Johnny, I don't need you anymore, and getting him kicked out of the soup kitchen. Johnny starts to go through one of his benders sponsored by Coors Banquet when in walks John Kreese. Kreese feels like they can finally talk as adults now that Johnny's done with his temper tantrum. Johnny gives him 3 minutes, and Kreese gives him credit for reviving Cobra Kai, but tells him that what he did was necessary, and it's time for Johnny to come home. He's a broken man at the moment. He tells Johnny he was the best, and he can teach that to these kids, including Miguel when he comes back. But Johnny tells him, if you ever go near Miguel or his family, I'll kill you. And time's up. After this meeting, Johnny puts down the Coors Banquet and heads to the hospital, deciding not to take Miguel's crap. Miguel is trying to get his phone and he can't reach it. And Johnny turns back into Sensei Lawrence, telling him that can't, won't, those are negatives. He's an adult now. He needs to get up and get that phone. Don't accept his position. And Miguel does that. It's a really inspiring moment. Until Miguel falls flat on his face. But it's a good sign that Miguel called Johnny Sensei. Now, after the meeting, Kreese did not just go home. He went to go do something that he's been trying to do for a long time. Recruit Robbie into Cobra Kai. Visiting him in juvie. Now, back with the rest of the kids, tensions are still high in school. Dimitri has done an earth science project. He's in a group with Yasmin and Moon. Yasmin isn't thrilled about it, but Dimitri reminds her, my popularity is on the rise, yours is way down, so maybe we can meet in the middle for some sexual harmony. It's something that old Dimitri never would have said. Now, Yasmin is grossed out, but she is impressed by Dimitri's earth science project. One person who's not impressed is Eli, who notices it and notices that he's making Moon laugh and decides to destroy it by hitting a soccer ball on top of it. Dimitri gets incensed, going up to Eli and saying, dude, that took me 3 weeks to create. And Eli says, yeah, well, it took my soccer ball 3 seconds to destroy it. Dimitri shoots back, yeah, you win this pissing contest, but it's not a surprise. You enjoy pissing so much. And they start getting into a verbal argument where Sam ends up sticking up for Dimitri. And then in the middle of it, Eli notices that the school guidance counselor is looking in their direction, so he provokes Sam to push him. And when the guidance counselor comes over to find out what's going on, Eli plays innocent, saying that Sam entered his safe space and he feels triggered. It ends up getting Sam and Dimitri in trouble. Tensions, though, come to a head on the soccer field. It's not a good idea to put a bunch of kids who know karate, aka kicking really well, into a sport where the only thing they can do is kick. Sam feels like this is the perfect time to get back at Cobra Kai because they're just being aggressive on the field. Eli scores a goal and looks over to see Moon talking to another guy, and you can tell he's upset. And Dimitri used this to his advantage, telling him, you know, she was in love with you. You screwed up a really good thing. And then he pushes him down on the ground. It gets to a point where the gym teacher needs to stop class and send everybody to the principal's office because they've stopped trying to aim for the goal and are instead aiming for their opponent's heads. But in the principal's office, Eli is the first one in there. And whatever Eli tells the principal, it works. Because Cobra Kai is dismissed with no punishment, while Miyagi-Do is given 2 weeks of detention on the weekend. And Sam is enraged, yelling that this school sucks. Thank you so much for watching this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Like the video if you liked it. Hit thumbs down if you thought it sucked. If you don't see the next video up in the end screen, don't worry, it'll be up soon. And please be nice in the comments section. Nobody likes being told they suck, even if it's true. Oh, and you know, sharing's caring.